Playboi Carti, Sir Cartier, Cash Carti, King Vamp, Gay Boy Carti.
They thought I was gay.
We all know that Playboi Carti is one of the most influential SoundCloud artists to come out of his generation, and damn near influenced the whole new wave and sound for the newer artists, while at the same time evolving his aesthetic and his music while setting a standard. If you're a hardcore Carti fan, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with all the eras he's been through, with the most popular aesthetic was during the Whole Lotta Red era when he was the vampire, with legendary performances at his Narcissist tour and his festival events. And what made these performances so special is that you genuinely felt like a rock star living your life up to the fullest, while having no care or no sense of reality of the problems you gotta deal with in the real world, cause Carti's music just had that type of feeling.
Put that side, it's purple like lean. Let me get you put that side, it's purple like lean.
Earlier this past year in March, Carti performed at Rolling Loud in Miami and really wanted to set the tone for his performance as a headliner. So not only did he get a solo guitarist for his set, but also had choreographic backup dancers, with the two most notable ones being Burberry and Blackhaine. Especially him, not only cause the way he looked, but also cause a lot of Carti fans said that he also looked it lost on stage, and a lot of people recognized him for being at the Donda 2 event. But he's not just some random white dude who just dances around and look dumb, nor is he just some random guy who affiliates himself with Carti. Hell, I don't even think he signed to Opium, but to a lot of us, cause the first time we seen him was at Carti's performance and at the Donda events, we just link him to that. But there's a lot to his backstory that's really interesting, and his come up story is very unique and really humbling. And for him to get to this point and where he's at in his career right now, it's very telling how hard he worked to be successful. Real name Tom Hayes, Blackhaine was born in Princeton, United Kingdom in 1997, with him not necessarily having a rough childhood, but also at the same time not really growing up in the best environment, with him spending most of his years being raised in Lancashire, where he even said that he didn't really have that many memories growing up, and from age 3 to 14 it was like a blur to him. And the things he did remember growing up there, he described it as a dual landscape, and never really seeing the town as being exciting, and that's where he always felt like he carried a certain detachment, which would play a pivotal part in his music career. But to escape the dreadfulness he was going through in his mind, he would just start dancing all the time just to express his emotions, and would become obsessed with Japanese films and fashion. He will often be left bruised and bloody from his hardcore dance routines, and he came up with the moniker Blackhaine from the film Blackhaine, with the word meaning hatred and the movie being about these teenage immigrants dealing with poverty, crime, racism, police brutality, and violence, which in Blackhaine's mind was similar to the town he grew up in. His main inspiration for his dance choreography was Tatsumi Hashikata, who was a Japanese choreographer in the 1950s and 60s who invented the dance called Buddha, and his performances would be described as the dance from utter darkness. Blackhaine would start getting into poetry in his late teens and began jotting down whatever came to his mind on his iPhone 3, where a friend of his, who was an artist himself, Randy Miller, was trying to convince him to make these poems into his music, and Blackhaine would even start sending him capellas of him singing the song, which worked out in his favor because Miller also produced and crafted music himself, and would take these audio files that Blackhaine would send him and would mesh it well together with his drill beats.
Women in the backseat, windows tint, get smoked out, rope out, chain on. Silver Cuban door from the shine in a lamppost. Balaclava fake cut, and I just want these banknotes.
With the result of this, Blackhaine would drop his debut EP in November 2020 called Amorn. The sound of the project he was targeting for was him being more interested in an instinct or emotion, and wasn't really contrived on storytelling. He will also make an appearance on the album Honest Labor by Space Africa, and would follow it up by dropping his second EP called And Salford Falls Apart, which the title references the city he called home, and builds on the paranoia of his first release. He also talks about the state of the country and how he sees it, and describe it as the country we're living in is a shithole. This EP was very sentimental to him and is pretty much about his life, as he has a lot of introspective lines about his state of mind dealing with substance abuse, and even alludes to him dying at a young age and him being surprised he lived as long as he did. Me mama read this, so I don't want to say too much. And even on the album cover is his own hospital bed, which was taken during a close call, with his friend Randy Miller having production duties alongside another producer, Crow. These three artists will make up a Blackhaine live show, with Blackhaine himself not only rapping but also doing these on-stage visceral dances, where he would even compare himself to Ian Curtis, and he says dancing will always remain crucial to his performances. If you put loads of stress on people or interrogate the muscles in a certain part of your arm, you will start to shake involuntarily. Once Blackhaine gained a lot of traction and notoriety in the UK, something pivotal would happen in his life, and that was when Kanye West's team reached out to him and wanted him to choreograph at the Donda event. I'm not trying to sound too arrogant, but he is my hero, and I knew that we always worked together. He would spend many nights rehearsing, not going to sleep, just so it could be perfect, but it was pretty sad when he didn't hear from Kanye's team again at the Donda 2 event. But he would release a follow-up EP called Amorin 2, where again his friend Rainy Miller had major production credits on here and would have major success on this project. In September 2022, another big moment would happen in Blackhaine's career, and that was when he started to choreograph with Playboi Carti at the Donda 2 event, and this is when he started to get a lot of attention from the US market, and would even gain more traction at the Rolling Loud event in 2023 in Miami, where again he performed with Carti, which was a big deal, and from that moment on, the rest is history. There's still a lot of things I really don't know about this guy while doing research on him. Like, I don't know how him and Carti initially met and became cool. I don't know how Kanye West's team found out about him all the way in UK. And it don't even give me the exact day when this guy was born. So it was kind of difficult doing this video, and I almost second guessed about recording it. But I was like, man, I got to, cause I know a lot of Carti fans ain't really familiar with this guy, or they just know him as his white backup dancer for Carti. But his story is actually kind of dope, and if you haven't checked out his music, I advise you to. It may be a little off-putting when you first see it, and it will confuse you, but that's part of like his lingo and his art, and he expresses his emotions through his choreography. But yeah, this is just a short little video about Blackhaine and who he is, and y'all let me know if y'all like his music or not. Me personally, he got a couple good songs. Some of them wasn't for me, but hey, a lot of his fans love that shit. And for some of y'all, when y'all first see it, it's gonna be off-putting to y'all, I guarantee it. But read up on him and understand why he does that, cause it'll make more sense. But be sure to like the video, comment, share, subscribe. Have a nice day.